Players take the knee and now rise back to their feet. Alexander Isak rolls the ball to Bruno, and 2024-25 is underway on BBC Radio Newcastle and NUFC TV. Newcastle back into defence, Burn to share up the pitch. Southampton flick it back to goalkeeper McCarthy, and he picks the ball up, looks to roll it out to a teammate. Isak, Longstaff and Gordon on the edge of the area putting pressure on. It's up the line to Walker-Peters, back to Harwood-Bellis. Bruno's got a boot to the ball, Longstaff has it, looked for Isak in the box, it's cleared. Share with a header on. Southampton have lost it to Bruno, lifts it into the area. Harwood-Bellis, in fact it's Stevens who hooks it clear. And now Livramento's got it, and Newcastle in the first minute trying to get their opponents facing their own goal and put them under pressure. They've won a throw on the right hand side in front of the Milburn stand, roughly 20 yards out.
Well, that's something we spoke about.
Here's Livramento, gets a return ball from Longstaff, rolls it into the middle of the box, but it's stabbed clear. Brereton Diaz fouled by Share on the near side, and the whistle's gone for a Southampton free kick.
Something we spoke about before kick-off. Southampton trying to play out from the back. They tried it in the first minute, gave it away, nearly got punished for it.
Now they tried to bring the ball through midfield through Flynn Downs. £15 million signing permanently from West Ham this summer. Here's Taylor Harwood-Bellis. Into Jan Bednarek, Polish international in the middle. They find another bright yellow shirt. It's Brereton Diaz, who's operating from the left of the attack. Bednarek in the box, floats it out to Sugawara, and the debutant, his first touch is a rather misguided one, as he's put the ball straight out of play. Newcastle throw, far side in front of the east stand. The lights are on, still cloudy and grey. Share turns back to Pope. Made his return in the final match of last season at Brentford. Lewis Hall clipping it in behind. Bednarek volleys it up into the Newcastle half. Hall battles for the ball with Smallbone. It's a Newcastle throw, far side of the pitch. Back in play with Joelinton. Into Bruno. Gets away from Southampton players. Looked to roll in Gordon, but it's going to run almost for a goal kick. McCarthy's kept it in. Good midfield play by Bruno. Gordon just didn't go.
Yeah, a little bit too much weight on the ball as well. Straight ball in behind. Not too sure that the defender didn't have it covered.
McCarthy kicks on the diagonal. Brereton Diaz tried to help it on. Livramento was the player challenging. Murphy covering round the back to Pope. Armstrong getting close to the Newcastle goalkeeper, who's passed towards Dan Burn, almost went for a corner, but the big man's kept it in. BBC Radio Newcastle, diagonal ball from Burn, 0-0. Jacob Murphy just inside the Southampton half onto Longstaff. Livramento in the attack as well. He's got it now, Murphy in the box. Oh, Livramento, an overhit ball, right idea.
But right idea, just execution wasn't there, was it?
Just didn't give Murphy a chance. Southampton have given it away
again.
Playing out from the back, Gordon into the box with Hall on the charge. Southampton survive and clear. This is Bruno, 30 yards out. Challenges with Smallbone. Neither team can keep it. It's now a Southampton free kick. Bruno and Smallbone went into a challenge, but I think it was Downs who was...
It was Downs that went down, yeah. Just wanted too much time on it. It's a couple of times he's wanted too much time.
Gordon snapping at the ankles of Southampton players, but they passed their way out of a sticky spot, and now move it inside. Stevens to Downs, back into their own penalty area with Harwood-Bellis to Sugawara. Downs up the line to Armstrong, just past halfway, taking on Dan Burn. Plenty of black and white shirts getting back. No goals on BBC Radio Newcastle. 5 minutes played of the new season. If there are any goals elsewhere in the Premier League, we'll let you know about them. This is one of 4 3 o'clock kickoffs. Arsenal, Wolves, Everton, Brighton, Forest, Bournemouth are the others. Aribo for Southampton. To the left wing, Brereton Diaz. Walker-Peters back up to Aribo. They're trying to build their first attack. Stevens, the centre-back, in central midfield. Across to Harwood Bellis. Everybody bar Isak behind the ball. Sugawara whips in across. Fabian Schär heads it away. Gordon spins past his man. Hooks the ball inside towards Isak, but Southampton win it back near to the centre circle. They're applauded by their manager, Russell Martin, wearing grey and navy, casual clothes. Eddie Howe in a black tracksuit. It's 0-0. Longstaff tries to slide in on Stevens. Smallbone and now Armstrong, 30 yards out. Bruno wins the ball. It's a fair challenge, and Joe Linton with a turn. He's got a man on, plays it back to Bruno, and then Dan Burn has to get it clear as Anthony Gordon hits the floor on halfway. They get nothing. It's a Southampton throw. Gordon has stayed down, tried to run around Harwood Bellis, and they came together.
It was just a coming together, wasn't it? Don't think there was anything in it.
Gordon holding his face.
Nothing in that.
I think maybe it's just his fingers caught him in the face, rather shoulder to shoulder it seemed.
It was just shoulder to shoulder. There was no...
Southampton have taken the throw and then they've put it straight back out, so it's Newcastle's ball now on the far side, middle of the Saints half. Gordon to Hall and back to Anthony Gordon, pulled back by Smallbone, and the whistle's gone. Newcastle have a free kick, and up goes Dan Burn, followed by Fabian Schär. This is 35 yards out on the left in the 8th minute, with no goals and no goal scoring opportunities yet at either end, as they shoot towards the right as we look at Gallagher end. Hall and Gordon next to the ball, both hands on hips from the pair of them. Joe Linton round the back, Southampton just ahead of the 18-yard line. Gordon runs over it, Hall sends it in and hooked clear by Downs, picked up by Gordon, left corner of the area, but heavy touch. And now the counter-attack from Southampton, led by Brereton Diaz. He's got Walker-Peters to the right. Brereton Diaz is trying to do it himself. Murphy and then Joe Linton get involved, and Newcastle win it back. And Schär to Bruno under pressure. Bruno's got a man on, and Southampton have regained possession. Newcastle not quick enough with the play there, having won it back. Here's Sugawara, goes down near to the corner of the box.
Yeah, he's pulled them back.
Lewis Hall penalised. Free kick, yellow card for Hall.
Yeah, he pulled them back, didn't he? He's got goal side of him, and there's the arm on the shoulder, look. Holding his short. Don't know whether it was yellow card. It was a free kick.
Sort of thing you see all the time. It's close to the
yellow card.
Well, maybe that's part of the new rules. Definitely had his arm across him, Lewis Hall. 9 minutes played and he's gone into the referee's book. This is close to the line along the side of the penalty area. I think it's probably level with the 6-yard box. And Southampton supporters, and they've taken pretty much a full away section. There's a good few thousand at the top of the Leazes end. They're looking down on this as Will Smallbone, far side, prepares to put the ball into the box. He scoops it up and it's headed away, then back in by Sugawara, who won the free kick. Newcastle get it clear. Smallbone gets away from Gordon, around Hall. Aribo with a chance to cross, and then plays it back to Smallbone. It's touched in, but the flag goes up, and Southampton's early opener has been ruled out.
Whoa.
I think it's the captain, Jack Stevens, who got the touch, and he's clearly offside.
Yeah, he is offside, yeah. can't defend like that. They've got in behind Hall yet again. Too easy.
Had a couple of problems, Newcastle, haven't they, in the last minute or so? The free kick and then that move. Would not have been the start they were expecting, but it remains 0-0 on BBC Radio Newcastle. That will increase Southampton's belief as Dan Burn intercepts the ball. It runs loose in midfield. Longstaff gets there on halfway to Livramento on the near side. Back to Cher. Played just twice in pre-season, but he was obviously involved in all of Switzerland's matches at the Euros. And the VAR check confirming the offside, but it was clear.
Oh, he was a mile off.
Without the need for the lines being drawn on. Hall onto Gordon in Southampton's half. Getting closer towards the goal. Back inside to Hall. Onto Joelinton. Wide to Gordon. Take on his man. Plays a 1-2 with Joelinton. And now it's a corner for Newcastle. Their first of the game.
Good tackle, good defending. Little give and go with Joelinton. Fullback stayed with him.
Anthony Gordon applauds the supporters in the corner. Bruno standing in front of the goalkeeper. Longstaff, back post, Burn and Cher near the penalty spot. They've got two on the edge as well, Newcastle. Gordon whips it in, and it's the near post. McCarthy, little stretch, catches.
Poor, wasn't it? Straight into the goalkeeper's hands, middle of the goal. Easy take for McCarthy.
12 minutes on the clock. Goalkeeper kicks out of his hands. There's no goals elsewhere. Also 0-0 in the National League. Gates it away at Woking. Here's Jacob Murphy. Alexander Isak for the first time into the penalty area. Turns to Bruno. Try to help it wide to Joelinton. It's a good challenge from Sugawara, and the last touch was off Joelinton. So free kick, throw in rather for Southampton.
Yeah, good defending. It's not the first time he's defended well.
Threw himself into the tackle and won the ball, won his team a throw. Looking for an option. Still looking. Supporters encouraging him to get a move on, as does referee Craig Pawson. It's Smallbone, back to Sugawara, and then given away to Hall, whose pass inside is to a yellow Southampton shirt. And the visitors approach halfway, now going to Newcastle's half, up the near side. Jacob Murphy wins it back from Kyle Walker-Peters, but with a bit of help from Brereton Diaz. Walker-Peters has possession again. Southampton slow it down in midfield, close to halfway. 0-0. Bednarek to Stevens, and right side of the centre circle is Harwood Bellis. Bednarek, and now on to Stevens. Isak in the Southampton half, but the ball goes forwards in midfield. Smallbone edge of the area, could hit it, takes a big deflection, and Nick Pope picks it up. I think all the power had gone out of the shot.
Took an eternity to hit it, didn't he?
So there's never any threat of a corner, but Pope has it in his hands, and now an overarm throw to Hall. Gordon drifts inside off the left touchline. He's got space here as he's approaching the final third, looking for Livramento. Sliding tackle from Aribo, and it's out for a throw.
Yeah, good tracking, wasn't it?
It's taking a little bit of time, Newcastle, to find their rhythm. 14 minutes played. Livramento with the ball in his hand, 30 yards from the Saints' goal. Isak starts to make a run. We look for Murphy and giving it away. Brereton Diaz back to Walker-Peters. Southampton will be pretty pleased with their start. A goal disallowed for a clear offside. Now back to the goalkeeper, and managing to deal with the press from Newcastle. Eddie Howe watching with his hands on his hips in the technical area. This is Stevens, and number 5,
yeah,
the centre back, but moving into midfield. more often than not when they're in possession. Joe Linton's got it back for Newcastle. This is Lewis Hall. Something might be on here. Isak in the box. Cross is blocked by Harwood Bellis at the near side. And Southampton able to bring it away, and then Hall blocks the clearance. It's a throw.
Yeah, it's that final ball again, isn't it? Pinched it back. Final ball into the box yet again was poor.
How would you, John Anderson, describe the opening 15 minutes?
Typical opening day. Still trying to find your feet.
Since BBC Radio Newcastle, where we haven't had a lot to get excited about from Newcastle yet. McCarthy's not been busy. Southampton have a throw to take right back, which they do, back to the goal line, then out to the touch line, and they've passed their way forwards rather neatly, haven't they? They look very comfortable on the ball. Their manager Russell Martin applauding. Jason Tyndall gets off his seat and joins Eddie Howe in the technical area. It's with midfielder Downs on the halfway line to the right, and to Harwood Bellis, Lloyd Kelly, Miguel Almiron, William Osula, Joe Willock sent out to warm up by Eddie Howe. Dan Burn with a header away. Bruno lifts it over the top of Downs and gets floored. Whistle goes for a free kick in the centre of Newcastle United's half. Played a promoted team on the opening day 2 years ago. It was Nottingham Forest, you remember, won 2-0. And then last season they beat Aston Villa, that brilliant game, 5-1. So in Eddie Howe's 2 previous full seasons, they've won on opening weekend. Newcastle 0-0 at the moment. Starting at home this season once again. Share to Livramento, Murphy wide right, in behind for Isak, who the defender gets a touch on it, but Isak races onto the ball in the corner. There's 4 black and white shirts in the box. Isak's cross is blocked, and Southampton through Aribo, charging up the pitch into the United half. Joe Aribo in behind for Brereton Diaz, now in the penalty area, and Lewis Hall turns it behind for a corner with Adam Armstrong lurking at the back stick.
Offside.
Flag is up. It's Mark Scholes on the far side, so it will be a Newcastle free kick, and he's got his flag up against either Brereton Diaz or Armstrong.
It was Diaz who was offside. He just went that fraction too early.
But Southampton, I think they're playing some really nice stuff, aren't they? Do you agree? Getting out of
they remind me a little bit of
trouble.
Watching Ipswich earlier on. Neat, tidy.
Ipswich beaten by Liverpool at lunchtime. Did it finish 2-0?
2-0
to Liverpool. 2 goals in the middle of the second half. Joe Linton and Bruno playing well in midfield. Newcastle edge of the area. Isak into the box. They've won a corner,
offside.
but the flags come up on the near side, so it will be a Southampton free kick. Just, you had a sense, didn't you, when the ball was played, that Isak was ahead of the last defender.
Yeah, flag went up straight away. It was a tight one. He may just have timed his run right, you know. But the linesman's flag went up, and there's no VAR check on them, is there?
Mark Perry, the assistant on the near side. Liverpool's goals from Jota and Salah, nothing elsewhere in the Premier League. Manchester United with their late 1-0 win over Fulham last night. Stevens on halfway, left-sided centre half of the Southampton 3. Their most recent pre-season friendlies, 0-0 with Getafe and 1-1 with Lazio, as they prepared for life back in the Premier League. And they've started pretty well. Murphy pulling back Walker-Peters It's clear as day, and Craig Pawson's whistle, as we've just heard, has sounded. Free kick taken quickly, and the ball in midfield. Downs to Stevens.
Got to put a squeeze on.
Now Longstaff tries to get close to Stevens. It's back to Bednarek and Harwood-Bellis. Gordon went to close down, but just a little give and go from Bednarek, and Southampton worked their way around Newcastle, beating the press again, too easily for Eddie Howe's liking, I'm sure. But scoreboard is still locked at 0-0 in the 21st minute. As Downs, the blonde-haired midfielder, back to Bednarek, and Harwood-Bellis on halfway on the right. Left-footed pass clipped to the right wing. Sugawara with a couple of step-overs. Now Downs to Harwood-Bellis, and Downs again. Sugawara. And they're keeping hold of the ball very comfortably, Southampton. It's at walking pace at the moment in Newcastle's half, and United yet to really threaten the Saints' goal. Up to Adam Armstrong, takes a touch, plays a pass to the right touchline. Sugawara stopped by Hall. It's on a yellow card, remember. He looked for Gordon up the line, but it's won back by Aribo, the tallest of the Southampton midfielders. He's a big physical player, Joe Aribo. He's just loitering close to the D. Armstrong moves out towards the right. He's going to hit it from distance, Armstrong, and it's over the top from getting on for 25 to 30 yards. Yeah,
well over his well, wasn't it?
Fancied himself, fancied his chances. Southampton's top scorer from last season. Nick Pope, always happy that that was going to clear the crossbar.
Yeah, it was always rising.
And Pope up the pitch from his goal kick. It's a bouncing ball that Gordon challenges for with Sugawara. Southampton who have it, middle of their half of the field. Brereton Diaz with his long hair flowing as he plays it back and then sprints up the line. Walker-Peters linking up nicely. Bruno and Murphy challenge. It's a Southampton throw. Eddie Howe with a bit of urgency about the way he's communicating with the players and watching the match. He's not entirely comfortable. It's a game that is still goalless as Livramento takes it on his chest from a Southampton ball up the pitch from the keeper. Murphy is being pulled back by Walker-Peters in the centre. Newcastle have a free kick. What do you think the manager will be contemplating at the minute, John Anderson?
I don't think he'd be happy. I think the problem is, as comfortable as Southampton are on the ball, we're not putting any squeeze on. We're not putting a press on. We're standing off, letting them play. We need to get in their face a little bit more, put them under a bit more pressure and see how they handle that.
Bruno Guimaraes with a free kick to take. It's on the right and it's 40 yards out. He lifts it into the penalty area, half a header away. It comes to Gordon on the 18-yard line. Now Fabian Schär went for a shot at the near side, took a big deflection, and they have a corner kick. And hopefully this one will be more productive than the earlier corner. It's only their second of the afternoon. Gordon to take it again as Chris Wood, formerly of Newcastle, puts Nottingham Forest 1-0 up over Bournemouth. Gordon, his two arms in the air. Isak makes a run to the front post. Whipped corner kick, curled in towards the 6-yard box, punched by McCarthy. Murphy collects on the near side. Schär with him, no offside. Schär now inside to Bruno, slipped through for Sean Longstaff in the box, tries to hang up a cross. Brereton Diaz made a block, and Southampton clear. Livramento takes it down in front of the halfway line and makes his way forward up the right wing. Murphy inside to Longstaff in the penalty area, gets turned wide to Livramento, still on the attack Newcastle. Bruno stops the game, slows it right down, foot on the ball, back to Cher, and Bruno again, Livramento wide, Bruno sticks it in.
Too easy.
McCarthy comes and catches. Dan Burn
took the keeper out.
McCarthy as he was trying to kick it up the pitch, and although Southampton managed to get the ball away, Craig Pawson's brought it back for a free kick. It's 0-0 between Newcastle United and Southampton. A couple of other goals. Arsenal 1-0 up on Wolves. Kai Havertz and Brighton have scored at Everton. It's one of their wingers that scored, but it's not Yankuba Minte, it's Carol McTominay for Brighton. 1-0 up at Everton. Free kick for Southampton in midfield. Some frustration in the stands at St James's Park, we are starting to hear, as the away team continue to play in a way that they will be happy with, and Newcastle just haven't quite got it together yet. Gordon to Bruno with a header on halfway. Joelinton, free kick. Gordon's taken it from the wrong position and also too quickly, so it'll have to be brought back to halfway.
Yeah, a little bit of frustration starting to creep in. You can hear it in the crowd as well.
And they've taken it again, but Craig Pawson, the referee, is still not happy. In the Gateshead match at Woking, by the way, there's been a lengthy stoppage. The Gateshead captain, Greg Ollie, who was once at Newcastle, is receiving lengthy treatment, as now we have a situation on the pitch. Brereton Diaz has thrown himself down. Dan Burns got involved, but it was Fabian Cher who went face to face with Brereton Diaz. It looked like he went down very easily. Nick Pope uncharacteristically involved in the scuffle, and he's having a right go at Brereton Diaz. The referee's come to the side of the group, but he's got a card out, and it's a red card for Fabian Cher. Fabian Cher has been sent off on opening weekend. Brereton Diaz gets booked. Newcastle are raging. There's 5 players around the referee, 2 there for Southampton. Cher is refusing to leave the field. VAR will have to have a look. Craig Pawson was dealing with something in the middle of the pitch when Brereton Diaz and Cher came together, and Newcastle have had a player sent off, and if VAR confirms the decision, they will be down to 10 men, John Anderson.
Well, for the life of me, I'll never understand why somebody of his experience wants to get involved in things like that. Just let it go. You've got the free kick. Oh, I tell you what, he stuck his head on him.
So what we saw initially was Brereton Diaz give Cher a shove.
The back of him, but why get involved? Just let it go. I mean, he gets up, pushes him, and then he puts his head in his face.
Cher got up and went to Brereton Diaz. We went head to head. Now, what you would deem a proper headbutt, it's not that, but it's put his head in.
He's put his head in his face.
The VAR, who is Chris Kavanagh, is checking the decision. It's over violent conduct. Fabian Cher is talking to other Southampton players. Brereton Diaz certainly went down without a great deal of
but why give him the opportunity?
But he had the opportunity. You're right.
Give him the opportunity to do it. Why just not walk away from it and leave it? He's put his head in his face. Okay, it's not a proper headbutt, but he's put his head in his face.
Emil Kraft's going to come on. Newcastle, Eddie Howe is talking to the 4th official. Fabian Cher had a bit of a complaint in the direction of Dean Whitestone pitch side, so they are going to have to change it. Southampton, Ando, have started quite well. Brereton Diaz now arguing with Dan Burn. They're not happy, and he's going to be the target of supporters for the rest of the afternoon. But Newcastle players continuing to say their bit.
But it's not his fault.
No.
Why Cher got involved in it in the first place? Why he stuck his head in his face? Somebody of his experience knows the rules of the game. He knows if you even gesture to do that, you're in big, big trouble. So why do it?
Jacob Murphy is the player sacrificed. He comes off fully understanding the decision. Emil Kraft is on at centre-back alongside Dan Burn. When they don't have many right-sided centre-backs available, the last thing they can afford is to lose somebody through a suspension. Fabian Schär's off, they've got 10 men, and it remains 0-0. We're now in the 31st minute, and the match is restarting with a Newcastle free kick, incredibly, in midfield, because, well, here's Bruno, plays it into the box, Burn heads on, McCarthy catches, because the referee's attention was elsewhere, and Southampton, the game had played on, but it had actually been stopped by the referee. So what Schär and Brereton Diaz were doing was
stupid.
Yeah, because
stupidity.
It was going to be brought back for a situation, a free kick in the centre circle. The supporters haven't had the chance to see it again like we have. Those who had a close-up view will have seen Schär goes head-to-head with Brereton Diaz. But of course they'll all hold him accountable as he has a touch, he gets booed.
But it's not his fault. But if Schär's only got himself to blame.
But sometimes having someone who is the villain for supporters is no bad thing, and maybe some of the players will feel he went down too easily. But we've seen a replay, and you can hear what happens every time he gets on the ball as Longstaff challenges the Southampton forward, who pushes Longstaff out of the way. Ball's back in play from a Saints throw on the left wing.
Hey, listen, you don't want to just all of a sudden start concentrating on him. You need to get on with the game. Players are starting to concentrate on him as well.
Stevens on the ball, left side of central midfield. Aribo has his foot on it, back to Stevens. It's 0-0 on BBC Radio Newcastle. But they've had Fabian Schär sent off. Isak with a foot on the ball to stop a back pass, but it's out on halfway on the Southampton right. This is Armstrong, could be handball, nothing given. Dan Burn sticks it out for a throw, and the change, Ando, it's a straight swap with Kraft at centre-back, but they've taken Murphy out.
Yeah.
So it's more of a three in midfield, with Gordon kind of pushed on as close to Isak as he can get, really. Is that how you read it?
Yeah, I mean, Gordon's just tucked in off that left side.
Smallbone with a cross, Burnout for a throw. And back by Southampton towards halfway and on halfway, Jan Bednarek. Well, Walker Peters has dropped into central midfield and he's played one in behind. It's a great ball for Sugawara, who wins what he thought was a corner, but it's actually a goal kick because the last touch was off the Japanese. And his forward play almost had Southampton another set piece, but Nick Pope with a goal kick. Tino Livramento comes across to Kieran Trippier on the touchline, and Trippier helping out Livramento just with some tactical stuff as he warms up. Eddie Howe and Jason Tyndall together. A lot of hand actions. Pope into the attacking half of the pitch, but it's out for a throw. Dango Ouattara has equalised for Bournemouth at Forest, 1-1. McCarthy with the ball at his feet in the Southampton box, up towards Smallbone in midfield, and Sugawara with a big
what a ball that is!
On the volley, side on. Incredible technique. Walker Peters. You know who that is. Back inside to Walker Peters, almost ran away from him, but Newcastle can't get it back. Now Dan Burn has it, and he's leading the charge up the pitch. Gordon spins, tackled on halfway by Harwood Bellis. Joe Linton with a foul in the centre circle. and it's 35 on the clock, John Anderson. They probably need half time, I think, because
they've lost their discipline. They're concentrating on Diaz instead of concentrating on the game. Get your mind back in the game. You're down to 10 men. Just start playing again.
We're playing again with no goals, but Fabian Schär sent off after putting his head in towards Ben Brereton Diaz after Brereton Diaz knocked him over. Schär got up, confronted him. Craig Pawson produced a red card.
He thought about it as well, the referee.
Dan Burn intercepting Brereton Diaz's ball up to the edge of the area, then Burn overran it and has fouled Joe Aribo. Southampton have a free kick on the edge of the area. It's another decision that's gone Southampton's way, but Burn, having intercepted the ball, had to lunge to then try not to lose it.
Yeah, his first touch is poor. Just gets away from him.
You're not fit to referee is the chant.
Yeah.
The free kick is close to the left corner of Newcastle's penalty box. Gordon and Bruno form the two-man wall. The line of spray's gone down. Smallbone is going to take the free kick. I think it's too far wide for a shot, but we could try and sneak it into the near side. The Bournemouth equaliser at Forest doesn't stand. It's still 1-0 to Nottingham Forest. Here it's goalless. Fabian Schär sent off. And they're defending this free kick. Kyle Walker-Peters is next to the Newcastle wall, and Captain Bruno is telling Walker-Peters he has to get away from the wall. You're not allowed to put an opposing player in a wall, a defensive wall, and the referee has agreed. So now there's a bit of a gap. Smallbone rolls it to Aribo, and his through ball goes straight behind. They didn't quite get that one right, Southampton.
No. It's obviously something they worked on, and it's obviously worked better than that. Thankfully they got it all wrong.
I was telling you earlier about a serious injury in the Gateshead Woking match, 0-0. It's the Gateshead captain Greg Ollie, who was in Newcastle's academy. We'll have a bit more detail on that from Colin White in the studio at half-time. Plenty on the North East non-league scene, all the other scores and the rest of the day's sports news coming up at the break. And we have a phone-in with John Anderson at full-time and dressing room reaction here on BBC Radio Newcastle between 5 and 6. Not a lot happening right at the moment. Southampton back to their goalkeeper, and McCarthy with a ping to Walker-Peters. The substitutes are going to be important today, with Newcastle down to 10. The players they have out there at the minute: Pope, Livramento, Kraft, Burn, Hall, Longstaff, Bruno, Joelinton, Gordon and Isak. Forwards into the path of Sugawara, and now Armstrong. It's just sort of, he's been on the periphery. Armstrong has had one shot over the top. Nothing clear cut for him. Newcastle defending again. Inside from the left wing from Brereton Diaz. Walker-Peters. Now Downs try to hit the edge of the box, but ran into a wall of black and white. Brereton Diaz to Walker-Peters. He might have a go.
Oh, he didn't expect it.
He went for the disguised through
ball. It was a great little ball.
And his teammate,
Aribo's got caught on his heels. He thinks he's going to shoot, and he disguises it. Plays a great little ball.
Nick Pope gathered. Hall went to put the ball up the line for Gordon. It was blocked, and now it's back with Pope, who didn't really have a pass on, and now he's gone long, and it's straight onto the head of Jan Bednarek. the heart of the Southampton back three. 0-0 as it comes inside from Walker-Peters to Downs. And now Aribo back to Walker-Peters into the middle of Newcastle United half of the pitch. Joelinton, extra ground for him to cover now on the left side of midfield. Sugawara with a whip cross, it's a great ball in. And Brereton Diaz has come in at the back post and guided a header
that is
wide of goal when he ought to have done better.
Yeah, what a ball. He gets half a yard and he whips it. Nick Pope can't come for it. Whoa, that's a big chance. He gets across Livramento. That's a massive chance.
It's come off his ear, I think. The reason I was studying it was because I thought the defender had headed it away because of how far away from goal it actually went, but it was off the side of his head. And now Nick Pope with a goal kick. 5 minutes or so till half time. Southampton win a header in midfield. Newcastle, since the red card, I know they've not, obviously with a player less, they've not had really any of the ball, have they? A spell of possession, and they've given it away on the far side. Bruno has it back. Hall then wins a throw, but if they can try and get on the ball and just settle things down, I think that would be a good thing for them in the game, wouldn't it?
Well, they need to get the ball, they need to take the sting out of it. As I said earlier, they need to concentrate on the game.
Bruno looking for Isak with a chipped pass in behind, away by the defender. Aribo taking on Gordon and Livramento. Gordon's come over to the right. Just a slight change from Newcastle, a tweak from Eddie Howe. Walker-Peters away from him, inside to Bednarek and Harwood-Bellis. It's a 4-3-2 that they are playing. Haven't dropped players back. They want to try and get forwards, maybe hit them on the break. It's still Southampton who have it. Aribo, they look to the assistant, no offside flag, and a deflection on the cross for a corner. On the near side, the Southampton left.
I'd like to see the stats on this game.
But even before Cher went off as well.
They had most of the ball.
The Gateshead match at Woking's been suspended by a further 30 minutes because of the serious injury to the captain, Greg Ollie, of Gateshead. It is 0-0 there. More on that at half-time. Still goalless here at St James's. Smallbone with a corner towards the near post. Livramento heads it across the box. It's a bouncing ball. They haven't dealt with it. Brereton Diaz has got it. Back to Downs. That was hesitation from Newcastle, and it means that they're still defending. Harwood-Bellis, that could be a push, and it is on Livramento.
The one thing you say is, even before the sending off, we'd been sloppy on the ball. We hadn't got hold of it, we hadn't passed it well enough.
They were not playing well.
We hadn't controlled it. Southampton look an awful lot more comfortable on the ball than we do.
They look very confident, don't they? Graham Jones and Jason Tindall have been told by the fourth official to step back away from Eddie Howe because they were having a chat as a trio in the box, and you're not allowed to do that close to the pitch. A couple of headers from the goal kick, the last one from Dan Burn out on the near side. Hasn't been the intensity about Newcastle. Southampton giving it away. Walker-Peters, Gordon looking for Isak, but it's away from him, and Stevens to the goalkeeper. Gordon closes down, given away by McCarthy. Isak, Joelinton, yes! Joelinton for 10-man Newcastle United. Southampton with all the play in the first half, with a man advantage, but caught passing it out from the back again. Isak to Joelinton, who took a touch and stroked it into the bottom corner. One we didn't see coming. In the 45th minute, Newcastle United 1, Southampton 0.
Well, McCarthy will have nightmares over this. What he's doing, I do not know. I said beforehand, They tried to play out from the back. They like to play out from the back. They got away with it in the Championship. You don't get away with it in the Premier League. It's absolutely awful from the goalkeeper. Scandalous.
Great spot by Isak as well for Joe Linton. There are defenders in the way. He's played it between two and across Smallbone as well, who couldn't get there. And Joe Linton, bottom left
McCarthy
corner.
hasn't seen the ball all game.
And when you look at the way the goalkeeper doesn't dive across his net for the shot
awful.
either.
Absolutely awful.
Joe Linton had plenty of space to place it into, and he did just that. Minimum of 3 additional minutes. Thought it might be a bit more, but Newcastle can get to half-time. 1-0 up with 10 men. Southampton with 72% possession, but you're going to say, as you always do, Ando, there is only one statistic
Only
that
one
counts.
only one stat that matters.
Gordon
Doesn't matter
down.
how much of the ball you have.
Gordon down again. Bednarek with the challenge. Newcastle get nothing. Eddie Howe a bit frustrated at that one. Play continues. Gordon back on his feet. Here's Brereton Diaz off Longstaff. It might run for a corner. He's kept it in. Back to Walker Peters. There's 4 or 5 Saints players in the box, but it doesn't come in. Bruno pushes it away. And Harwood Bellis next to the centre circle. Second minute of the minimum 3. 1-0 to Newcastle, with Fabian Schär sent off earlier in this first half. Southampton with a couple of risky passes on halfway. Back to McCarthy. He's not their first choice. He's playing because Gavin Bazunu is out injured until next year. They've lost the ball again. Anthony Gordon's away. Right hand side, pursued by Stevens. Gordon taken down, is he? Yes, he is. Gordon taken down on the edge of the penalty area as he cut inside. He didn't quite have enough to race through one-on-one with McCarthy. And Stevens, the Southampton captain, is yellow carded for the challenge on Gordon. He took a moment again, Craig Pawson, before deciding what to do. But 1-0 up, they've got a free kick on the edge of the box, a chance to make it 2 down the right-hand side of the penalty area.
Yeah, it's been a harsh lesson for Southampton in the Premier League. You can't keep giving it away the way they do and throw bodies forward, or you're going to get punished. I mean, they've been the better side. Even before the sending off, they were the better side. The way they kept the ball and moved the ball.
Jason Tyndall having a good right old argument with the fourth official, telling him to get back when he's the one that's out there because it's a set piece and that's what he does. A lot of frustration around Newcastle, but much of that has started to ease with the Joe Linton goal. And this free kick, Hall and Gordon next to the ball. They're on the 6-yard line, Longstaff edge of the area, everybody back for Southampton. Lewis Hall's gone for goal, it's headed out for a throw by Aribo.
Corner kick.
Is it a corner? No, it isn't. It is a corner. The referee's going to give them time to take it. Imagine if he'd blown the whistle there, it'd have been even more unpopular. We're into a 4th minute though, so they'll have to be quick, and he may not play on for much longer after the ball goes in. Hall from the right with his left. It's a deep one. Joe Linton with a header down. Appeal for handball from Newcastle players and fans next to the goal. Referee says wait. It'll be a throw on the far side at the very least. Didn't have much of a view of that. Joe Linton's header.
Half-time.
He's
Well, it's too
down,
late now.
but yeah. There will not be a VAR check on that because the half-time whistle has gone. What an interesting start to the season it's been. Fabian Schär sent off. Straight red card, 29th minute. Newcastle with Kraft having come on for Murphy earlier. It's Pope, Livramento, Kraft, Byrne and Hall as the back 4. They've got a midfield 3 of Longstaff, Bruno the captain and Joe Linton, Gordon and Isak in attack. And Southampton's change is Sugawara, who has gone off, and they haven't told us who's come on yet, but we'll figure that out in just a second. The second half is underway on BBC Radio Newcastle and NUFC TV. 1-0. Newcastle, black and white stripes against the luminous yellow and navy of the visitors, are defending the goal to the right at the Gallagher end, so shooting uphill to the Leazes end in the second half. It's a corner for Southampton off Livramento, and they are immediately having to do some defending. United's bench: Dubravka, Trippier, Barnes, Osula, Almiron, Kelly and Willock. Those are the players Eddie Howe can call on in the second half, and I'm sure he will be using what's available to him. Here's the corner on the Southampton left from Smallbone. Joelinton's header, then Dan Burn away. Gordon trying to take it out to the near side. Longstaff's got it. Lewis Hall's making a good run. It's up to Bruno on the stretch. Couldn't reach it. Might have been caught by Smallbone on the head as Bruno sliding.
He was never getting there, was he?
To get back up, and Smallbone has acknowledged the collision, and the referee stopped the match because he says it's a potential head injury. Accidental collision.
Yeah.
Bruno's okay. Southampton change was Samuel Edozie, the 21-year-old winger who has come on for Yuki Sugawara, and Walker Peters has come to the near side. Newcastle free kick in the middle of their half. They're playing with 10 men, but still lead 1-0. Southampton, McCarthy in goal, Harwood, Bellis, Bednarek and Stevens at the back, Walker Peters right, Edozie left, Downs, Smallbone, Aribo in the middle, Brereton, Diaz and Armstrong in attack. The free kick from Pope in towards the corner. Goal scorer Joelinton is using all of his size and strength. Very nearly won a corner. It's gone for a Southampton throw. At least to stop the goal kick, and Walker Peters is told to get back a few yards. He's attempting to take it from an incorrect position. We're in the third minute of the second half on BBC Radio Newcastle. Bruno wins a throw for Newcastle in the challenge. Disputed by Downs for Southampton. Lewis Hall comes forward to take Kraft, and Byrne and Livramento pushed up to the middle of Southampton's half. The away side have brought everybody back towards their goal. Here's Gordon from Hall's ball from the throw. Hall beats his man, then sends a cross into the penalty area. It's volleyed out for another throw, about 15 yards out on this near Newcastle left. Milburn stand. Lewis Hall for Gordon again, near to the goal line, tries to shimmy and get away from a defender. It'll be a goal.
Good defending. Got himself between man and ball, just ushered it out for a goal kick.
Downs comes into the centre circle, can't get forwards. Away from Bruno. Matt Targett's on the bench as well. I neglected to mention him, formerly of Southampton, making his way back from 2 long-term injuries. Players been switched. Well, they're booing Edozie, not Brereton Diaz, and it's Brereton Diaz at the near post. Armstrong off the line and followed up and wide. Brereton Diaz has missed the big chance to make it 1-1. Lewis Hall cleared the ball off the line when Southampton, through Adam Armstrong, looked like they were going to equalise, and when it came back to Brereton Diaz, he missed the target. It's taken a touch and it's a corner which they've played short and quickly on the right. Isak comes out to close down midfielder Flynn Downs. Now it's Walker Peters looking for Smallbone. Danger here, and Longstaff blocks at the near post.
Well, got away with another one, didn't we? You just wonder, don't you? whether it's going to be your day or not.
Defending another corner. Edozi's come sprinting over to Smallbone, but he doesn't use him. He clips it into the box. Big Dan Burn with a comfortable header away, back into the area by Southampton. 3 black and white shirts, and Pope comes and lands on the ball. Joelinton among the players, just making sure it reached the goalkeeper, and it did. 1-0 up with 10 men. BBC Radio Newcastle. Pope drops it and kicks from the edge of the penalty area. Walker-Peters with a header. It's found Longstaff in midfield. 51st minute. Hall. Given away by Lewis Hall. Brereton Diaz. Here he goes. Pursued by Joelinton. Ball inside to Adam Armstrong. Pope, great save. Diving save from Nick Pope to claw the ball away from goal and over the top as Adam Armstrong took aim.
Comfortable save though, wasn't it? It's at a good height. Big frame, just stick a big arm up, pushed it over the top. But Hall, for me, has struggled this afternoon. He was all over the place first half. They kept getting in behind him. And on that occasion, he gives the ball away really cheaply.
Isak with a header away after the corner was played short. Now into the box. Kraft lifts it clear from the second Southampton ball in. It's too far for the keeper to come. Hall gets close to Aribo and blocks his cross. It's better. It's away into Southampton's half of the field. I think the shot from Armstrong took a touch off a defender and looped up, and Pope then pushed it over, which may have taken some power off the effort, but might have altered the direction of the shot. But they've survived 2 moments there, and they are in defensive mode once more. Edozi, sliding tackle from Livramento, and another Southampton corner. Willock warming up along with Barnes and Targett. He's got lots of options still. Eddie Howe can bring 4 more on. Corner on the far side between the east stand and the Milbert and the Gallagher end. Smallbone coiling ball into the near post, headed across the box. Who got the last touch? The Southampton player. 3 of them run to the referee to complain, but it will be a goal kick, not another corner.
Yeah, nobody coming in back stick. Everybody had gone near post. They got a little touch on it.
1-0. Joelinton scored the goal at the end of the first half. If there are any further goals, we will let you know. Forest 1, Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 1-0 upon Wolves, and Brighton winning 1-0 away at Everton in the other 3 o'clock kickoffs. Walker-Peters header away, Longstaff on the ball, away with his left. It's turned into a good pass for Isak. He's kept it in on the near touchline. Joelinton looking for another black and white shirt. Bruno and Longstaff into challenges. Longstaff, that was really committed play. The crowd loved that as Gordon gets pulled back and then gets away, but Downs had probably stopped and acknowledged the referee's whistle. Free kick.
Yeah, it's getting a bit fruity, isn't it? A couple of tackles flying around.
Left side of central midfield. Livramento holding back near to the centre circle. Bruno next to the ball. Dan Burn and Emil Kraft have been sent up for this. Southampton near to the D. Bruno towards the far side. Keeper came and then went back. It's in the box. Kraft making himself a nuisance. Out to Longstaff, edge of the area. Lewis Hall will hit one, and it's wide of goal. There's a Southampton defender down, Bednarek in the box. It's a goal kick after Hall's shot. It didn't take a deflection, but Emil Kraft caused problems there because they weren't really sure where the ball was. Kraft just got in the way and wouldn't quite drop for another black and white shirt. Southampton struggled to clear it, and then Lewis Hall had the effort.
Yeah, we've seen him hit them from there as well, haven't we? Seen him score goals from there. Didn't really get hold of that one, flew high over the top. But they got themselves in a pickle at the back. Southampton didn't really clear the lines.
trying to work out if a free kick has been awarded instead of a goal kick. Ball is back in play, and the away team bring it forwards out of defence. They've got Forest at home next, and then Brentford away in the league. They've got a few players injured as well, Southampton, including Adam Lallana, who returned in the transfer window. There's a diagonal ball that Newcastle are going to let run behind. Harwood-Bellis. It's not the sort of football Russell Martin, the manager, wants to see. And
it's been decent him, though, hasn't he? Looks comfortable on the ball, likes to bring it out.
He's now making his feelings known with a bit more volume. Southampton manager with his beard and dark hair. It's been up and down, hasn't he, throughout the match. He's very much involved on the touchline. Doesn't seem as though he can sit still and watch the game. Eddie Howe a little calmer in the second half. 57 minutes. Martin went back to the bench, now he's back up, and then he goes down on his haunches.
This crowd don't even know who they're booing, you know.
They're confusing Samuel Edozie for Ben Brereton Diaz. And it's Ben Brereton Diaz who was involved in the incident with Fabian Schär that saw Schär red-carded in the first half. That's why Newcastle have 10. Brereton Diaz blocked there by Bruno. Out to the far touchline. Bruno up the pitch, but no one there in black and white. Straight back to Southampton in their half of the field. Newcastle push up towards halfway. Danny Welbeck has made it 2-0 to Brighton at Everton. Bednarek, the big centre-back, to Walker-Peters, who switched from left to right for the second half. Southampton 20 yards from Newcastle's goal. Wide left, Edozie. Lots of black and white bodies back. They pass it inside to midfield, then back to Bednarek. No sign of any substitutions yet on the Newcastle bench. Southampton work it from left to right. Here's Brereton Diaz, flicked away by Byrne from Brereton Diaz's cross. Header won by Stevens. Appeals for handball against Walker-Peters, nothing given. He's trying to take on Lewis Hall. Can't get the cross in, but he still has possession. Bruno with him as well. They've doubled up on Walker-Peters, and Bruno wins it back. Starts to come away up this near side. It's Isak into Hall. Oh, he's flicked it back straight to a yellow shirt. Brereton Diaz to Armstrong in the D. Tried to turn, couldn't do so. Stevens now to Edozie. Away from Livramento. And then Newcastle clear through Kraft. Gordon chases. Bednarek back to his goalkeeper from halfway.
Yeah, Hall struggled today. Keeps giving it away, doesn't he, in bad areas as well.
Well, if they are, as you were talking about, John Anderson, earlier, to bring on Kieran Trippier, they might make the change for Lewis Hall and keep Livramento out there, because he's had some tough moments. Hall, and he was booked earlier in the match for a foul on the edge of the area. Armstrong has dropped deep. Position on the left, back into midfield, and now Aribo to Walker-Peters, taking on Hall. Gets the cross in. Byrne with half a clearance. Then Hall makes a challenge on Aribo, forces him away, but Aribo recovers. Now breaks into the box. And then goes back outside the penalty area and plays it back to Bednarek. Southampton with all of the possession, a bit like the first half, or very much like the first half actually. Newcastle still 1-0 up though, with 10 men. Armstrong tries to turn, lays it off to Edozie, corner of the area. Stevens straight to Bruno. Gordon makes a forward run. 2 yellow shirts on him. Gordon tries to come back and is fouled by Edozie. And they have a stoppage, chance to rest, and a free kick, more important. Still,
yeah, just kill it. Just take the sting out of it a little bit.
Still the conversations between Jason Tindall and Eddie Howe go on as Harvey Barnes comes jogging back to the Newcastle bench. We have played an hour on BBC Radio Newcastle. Bruno up the line, straight to Stevens. It's kept in by Edozie on the far touchline. Not the best ball back. Isak thought he had a sniff of it, couldn't win it. And Southampton held on, and Harwood Bellis has carried it a good 40 yards and still going. Walker-Peters back inside to the defender. And now Bednarek in the centre circle. Newcastle with everybody behind it. Armstrong again occupying that space in a deeper position. Receives it left of centre. And they go back, and now to the right wing. Patient passing from Southampton. It's the 10 men of Newcastle. Downs, here's Armstrong, edge of the box, could hit it, blocked by Livramento. Still Armstrong, now Smallbone with a shot. Armstrong with an effort blocked. Kraft to Hall and away.
See, Southampton have plenty of the ball, but they're not doing anything with it in the final third of the pitch. They're passing it neat and tidy. It's all in front of us. It's quite easy to defend against when you've got 2 banks of 4.
Aribo to Walker-Peters. Smallbone makes the run, gives him an angle. Emil Kraft, good covering. And then a ball back inside by Hall. Smallbone's got it back. Armstrong to Downs. The shot blocked. It's come now to Aribo. He's tried to guide it into the bottom corner. It's deflected behind.
Rather look a little bit there, didn't they? Ball bouncing around all over the place.
Couldn't quite get it away, Newcastle. And Southampton couldn't quite make the most.
No, they haven't got that cutting edge
of that situation. They have got the striker Cameron Archer that they signed yesterday among their substitutes. Still leading 1-0 Newcastle as they defend a corner. Smallbone clips it in. Joelinton with the header. Aribo tries to bring it down. Gordon makes a challenge. Bruno onto it. Still Bruno. Gordon getting away. Oh, the referee's pulled it back. And he's given a free kick. Surely a free kick to Southampton. Gordon ran through and he was clear as he got past the last 2 defenders on halfway. Newcastle again unhappy with referee Craig Pawson. Bruno on Flynn Downs. Tell us what he did.
Just pulled them back.
Southampton have restarted the match. Armstrong clips it into the box, and Nick Pope with an easy claim low down in the 6-yard box.
It's been poor on the Armstrong. Hasn't got involved in the game at all. Has had no influence on it.
Well, in the first half, Brereton Diaz was out on the left. He's now gone to the centre with Armstrong deeper and wider. Pope's ball up the pitch straight to a Southampton player. Newcastle have it back through Hall, and now Joelinton. That's a free kick. A goal scorer of the game's only goal, tripped. And a free kick close to the near touchline, but past halfway. Still coaching staff conversing. Graham Jones joining Eddie Howe and Jason Tindall. Joelinton helped to his feet by Bruno, who is handed a water bottle, or thrown a water bottle by a member of staff. Bruno, diagonal ball, hanging it up to the edge of the box. Kraft rises, couldn't get there, and Aribo plays it clear, but it's Newcastle throw, probably 30 to 35 yards out. Tino Livramento played 34 times for Southampton. This is his 36th Newcastle appearance. Takes the throw, links up nicely. on the far side, kept the ball in and got a cross into the box, but Southampton managed to survive the immediate danger. Then they played a risky pass across the box, and Newcastle, through Longstaff, make a challenge in midfield. Walker-Peters has got it again. Bruno slides in, wins it for Hall, can look forwards, onto Gordon, back to Joelinton, and through for Lewis Hall, might get the chance to run here. And it's Stevens back to the goalkeeper, who took his time, eventually found Harwood Bellis, and Southampton have survived a bit of a scare there. More intensity about what Newcastle were doing there over the last 90 seconds or so. But when it goes back to McCarthy, Southampton look like they're taking a big risk. Walker-Peters, deflected cross off Hall, caught by
the
Pope.
same when it goes back to Pope. Neither of them look confident or comfortable when it gets played back to them, do they?
He waited a while, didn't he, when Gordon was closing in?
He was probably thinking about the goal.
They are calling for one of the substitutes. It might be Lloyd Kelly or Joe Willock. They're both coming back towards the bench. Up the pitch towards Isak, can't win the header. Chases after the ball, Joelinton's got it back. And he's won a free kick off Walker-Peters. Great work for the team from Joelinton. Everton have had a player sent off, it's Ashley Young, and they are 2-0 down at home to Brighton. Still 1-0 to Forest against Bournemouth, and Arsenal are a goal up on Wolves, 1-0. 5:30, it's West Ham against Aston Villa. The free kick to be taken by Anthony Gordon in the 68th minute. Newcastle going to make a double change. Harvey Barnes and Lloyd Kelly leading 1-0, but with 10 men. Here's Gordon's free kick from the near side. It's a good curling ball in. Did anyone get a touch?
No.
Southampton goal kick. That's into a great area, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good ball, isn't it? A lot of pace on it. Just want somebody going and attacking it. I just wonder how long Southampton will leave this without changing it.
They're going to do it now. Russell Martin's called for a replacement. The Newcastle double change. We would expect the next time the ball goes out, Lloyd Kelly might be coming on at left back. Can play there, unless they change the system. Edozie on the left wing, he's done 4 step overs. Can't get around Livramento. It will be a corner though. Maybe they will wait until after the set piece. It's a short corner, and it's with Edozie. Back to Downs, 30 yards out, inside to Walker-Peters. He can touch and hit. A deflection and then a block from Kraft. Space now for Harwood Bellis on the right side of the box, intercepted by Lewis Hall and put out for a throw by Lewis Hall. That's good defending. Ready for the changes. It's going to be a Newcastle United debut for Lloyd Kelly, and the introduction also of Harvey Barnes. Anthony Gordon is the first player to see his number on the board. Gordon giving them 70 minutes. Lewis Hall is the other who is coming off. So Barnes for Gordon and Kelly for Hall.
Yeah, it's been a tough afternoon for Hall. Done one or two good things, but
20 minutes for the summer signing. Free transfer, Lloyd Kelly, after leaving Bournemouth, where he'd spent 5 years and was signed by Eddie Howe. Southampton are taking off Joe Aribo and putting on teenage forward Tyler Dibbling. And Cameron Archer is coming on for Ben Brereton Diaz. He gets a hug from his manager. So they brought on...
Tell me what he did wrong, will you?
One of their new signings and one of their top prospects from the academy. 50,000 home fans don't like him. Fabian Schär sent off.
You shouldn't roll around when you get...
after an incident with Brereton Diaz in the first half where he put his head in towards him. Newcastle leading 1-0 on BBC Radio Newcastle. This is now Jack Stevens. Smallbone gives it away, edge of the area. Isak makes a run. The ball from Livramento too strong for him. But Kelly's gone to left back as we expected, Ando, and Barnes is supporting Isak. So
yeah, it's just like for like for like. That's all it is. Barnes will go and play off Isak. Kelly, as we've seen, can play at left back.
And he looked good at centre back against Brest last Saturday. Lloyd Kelly into the box from Southampton. Not the best Newcastle clearance, and in fact it's come to Edozie, floated in from the far side. Goal kick. (2-0) to Arsenal against Wolves.
Just look like when they get to that final third, they just don't see it. They don't see the big picture. Southampton, they've had an awful lot of the ball. You'd have to say they haven't done a great deal with it.
Newcastle push up to halfway. Dan Burn having a chat with Lloyd Kelly, just making sure they're in the right position. Nick Pope with a long goal kick from the left side of the box. Joe Linton, the goal scorer, heads on. Barnes came to the near side. If it stayed where he was, he might have got on the end of the knock-on from Joe Linton. And there's Joe Linton getting back in midfield to win the ball. This is Kelly up the line to Isak. Collected. Oh, Isak, what a bit of skill that is around Harwood Bellis. And he's going to get a yellow card, the Southampton defender. Lovely take and then a flick all in one movement. That's the top quality that Alexander Isak possesses. They get a free kick and they see Harwood Bellis go into the book as well. To be taken by Kelly. A couple of yards back from halfway. Armstrong's not the 10 yards that he should be.
That's 10 yards, isn't it?
Yeah, he's not going to move any further. Lloyd Kelly gets underneath it, clips it up to Burn, edge of the area. Can't win the header though. And now he makes a challenge, which the referee punishes him for, on Dibbling. It's the centre of the Southampton half. He's going to get booked down, Burn.
Yeah, rightly so as well.
Is it for the challenge or for throwing the ball away? No,
it's for picking the ball up and throwing it away. He's another one. He's not a baby. He's not a boy.
Southampton on halfway. Harwood Bellis, Bednarek, Willock and Osula, and Target out there as well. Still warming up. They've got Almiron on the bench too. Trippier, there's another replacement available to Eddie Howe. Nick Pope with the ball in his hands in the box. In the 75th minute. And with the final part of the game approaching, John Anderson and Newcastle with a 1-0 lead and Southampton with a man advantage. What's your reading of the game now, where it is?
I think we've defended quite well. We haven't had to do a great deal to defend, if I'm perfectly honest, because they played in front of us all the time. We've got two banks of four. Southampton have all the ball. They're playing in front of us. You see it all the time. So it's not as if they're turning you around and you've got to go back towards your own goal. Everything's in front of us. So at this moment in time, even though they've had plenty of the ball, we're still very comfortable.
Dibbling, the 18-year-old. Back to his defenders and a diagonal ball to the Southampton left wing, attacking the Gallagher end goal. Samuel Edozie Two black and white shirts there, onto Smallbone in the box, blocked by Joelinton, and Joelinton into another challenge. It's beaten him, it's a throw for the away side, but he's been everywhere in the second half.
It's his type of game, isn't it? Chasing, harrying, closing down, getting in people's faces.
Harwood Bellis to Dibbling. Walker Peters comes in off the right wing. Harwood Bellis walks towards the Newcastle penalty box. As Ando says, the banks and blocks of lines of Newcastle players
there it is.
stopping their route
it's
to
all
goal.
In front of us. They're going backwards. You see it all the time. You're not turning it. You're not worried about it going in behind you because they don't do that. There you go.
Intercepts. Longstaff and Bruno making challenges. Barnes now to Isak, and Barnes makes his run through the middle, but the ball favoured the defender rather than Isak, and it's headed out for a throw. Barnes gave it and went, but Isak was second favourite to get there. He's not had an opportunity to score today, Alexander Isak. Even at 11v11, Southampton were dominating possession, but obviously with the man advantage since the 29th minute, it has meant that Newcastle haven't seen much of the ball and haven't created the opportunity to create much. Maybe if the game gets a bit more open and a bit stretched, they could hit them on the break.
There it is again. You see, they're just going backwards.
Well, they're trying the right side first and then going over to the left, aren't they?
But it's not in behind us, it's in front of us all the time.
Edozie, left corner of the penalty area, the wiry, tricky winger. Back to Bednarek. Walker Peters into the box. They've given him time and the opportunity to run. It's blocked, it comes to Downs, and now Armstrong! Corner. Adam Armstrong's shot deflected wide of Nick Pope's near post.
Didn't put his foot through it, did he? He's trying to place it as well. Gone that near post. Nick Pope had it covered.
Kelly backed off and Walker Peters was allowed to go into the box. And Armstrong had the opportunity. It's led to this corner in the 78th minute to the near post. Isak flicks away. Emil Kraft chases after the ball. Tyler Dibbling there for Southampton. Back to Walker Peters, takes it forwards, going on the outside of Kraft and Bruno, digs out across, Longstaff with a header, Dibbling on his chest, on the 18-yard line, no space for a shot. Newcastle have blocked Harwood Bellis, and now Barnes to Isak. Can they go? Isak on to Barnes, the only two Newcastle players in the Southampton half. Still Harvey Barnes. Tried to make his way through into the box. The ball ran towards the goal line, it's been kept in, so we don't know whether it would have been a corner or not. And Saints play their way up into the Newcastle half on the far side. Armstrong. Lack of numbers in that attack, I think. 1-0 Newcastle lead, as they have done since the end of the first half. Joelinton's goal. Armstrong near to the goal line on the left. Bruno makes a challenge.
All you've done is made a challenge, son.
Punches
you just
the
poked the ball out of play.
And gets a big cheer from the crowd. Harwood Bellis, 20 yards out. It's a flat cross. It's taken a big touch off Dan Burn though and gone behind for a corner, near side of the pitch. 11 minutes remaining on BBC Radio Newcastle. Phone incoming. You can book your place in now. Ring 0800 234 6565. We'll have post-match interviews as well. Will Smallbone, right-footed from the near side. It swings away from the goal. And Bruno with two challenges. One to block it and then the next to clear. Put back into the penalty area, and then behind it goes. Pope and Byrne just watched it sail out of play, with Harwood Bellis the closest Southampton player, and two more changes now for the away side. Carlos Alcaraz, the talented midfielder who was good for them in their relegation season, Was loaned to Juventus halfway through last year. He's coming on for Kyle Walker-Peters, and they're also going to bring on the 18-year-old winger Sam Amayo, who has been in their academy and was previously with Spurs, and he will be replacing a centre-back, Jan Bednarek. Preparing to make any further Newcastle changes at the minute. Almiron, Trippier, Asula and Willock still warming up. They've got the lead given to them by Joelinton's goal after Fabian Schär's red card. Face an hour with 10 men, Newcastle. Here's Isak. Harvey Barnes, couldn't take it in his stride, and it's run through to McCarthy. Isak away from Amayo and through for Barnes. It was a good ball, and he got a touch on it, but not enough, not the right one. But that could have been their moment.
Yeah, haven't been too many of them.
John Anderson with us on BBC Radio Newcastle, former Newcastle defender, a match summariser for every game. This one, with 8 minutes remaining, Southampton in the box. Armstrong near post, cleared by Dan Burn. Two Geordies, very different body types. Difference in height is
just a bit
massive, and Burn got there first, fortunately. Here's a Dozy away from one, cleared by Kraft, who's been as solid as always since coming on for Murphy after the Schär red card.
Yeah, Dozy, he's a one-trick pony, isn't he?
Dozy again on the Southampton left wing, Alcaraz near him, Smallbone just inside. Dozy comes inside, goes on the outside, breaks a couple of challenges, wins a corner. A lot of their players coming through. 21-year-old Samuel Edozie, who they signed from Manchester City 2 years ago. He's received it from Alcaraz from a short corner, back to Smallbone. And Downs, 30 yards out. Longstaff gets out there to him. Play it 10 yards to the left to Smallbone again. 1-0 Newcastle. Edozie step overs, goes on the outside, but he's not getting the better on that occasion.
Does the same thing all the time. Throws a right foot over it, drops a shoulder, goes left. All you've got to do is just stand there.
Good defending from Harvey Barnes. Eddie Howe's called Joelinton over to the near touchline. Nick Pope's
gone down.
He's injured.
Yeah.
Nick Pope is injured.
Yeah.
The physios come running on. Not just Joelinton, all of Newcastle's players have come across. This is a really fortuitous and advantageous break in play, isn't it?
It looks, yeah.
We hope Nick Pope's all right.
Oh, God, yeah.
Lower right leg.
Yeah.
Let's be serious for a second. It could be an injury. It may not be the dark arts, as many people call them.
Yeah.
BBC Radio Newcastle. Other ways to get in touch with us, as Newcastle lead Southampton 1-0 with 6 minutes to play, but they have 10 men. WhatsApp, BBC at the start of your message. Save the number into your phone, 08000 321 333. 08000 321 333. Or text shorter number 81333, BBC at the start of your message as well. The good news is Nick Pope's all right. I know you were wondering, Ando. He's had some treatment. His teammates have had a drink.
I was worried there for a second.
And a break. This will just get added on though at the end of the match. But hopefully the pause in play has been helpful to Newcastle. Joelinton wants it on this near side, and he's competing for the ball and wins it with a flick on. Isak chases, but Downs just got there first. Back to McCarthy, slight stumble from the keeper, but he's cleared it. Bruno in midfield, header on to Joelinton, dribbling at his back, and Longstaff on towards Isak. Can't quite win it. Joelinton with a challenge. Referee didn't like that one. was on the 18-year-old Tyler Dibbling.
I love watching the reaction of people, you know.
Joe Linton. Oh, ball out of play from Archer, the debutant, the new signing. I think it's his first touch. It's behind Edozie. Newcastle throw, right back position.
Yeah, they haven't done enough, Southampton, for all the ball they've had. Neat and tidy, but they haven't created enough.
Jason Tindall having words with Russell Martin, the Southampton manager, fourth official in between them. This is Harvey Barnes. So run away from him on the touchline, close to halfway, far side of the pitch. Small bone across midfield to Dibbling, who scored a hat-trick here in an academy game a couple of years ago. Here's Ayo Amayor into the box, Kraft, and then Bruno away. It reaches the halfway line, Southampton coming forwards again. 4 minutes of the 90 still to be played on BBC Radio Newcastle. Dibbling looks for some support, wide it goes, Amo Amayor digs out a left-footed cross, header caught low down by Nick Pope. Oh,
comfortable save.
Might squeeze in. There's not a lot of power in the header, was there, Ando? But
save.
He had to get down.
Yeah, it's comfortable.
And
it's a save you expect them to make.
Grab it by the base of the post.
Yeah, no pace in the cross, so there wasn't a great deal of pace in the header. Just looped, comfortable for him.
Isak trying to get in behind on the near left side, but Southampton win it, play it into the centre. Downs has dropped back a bit after they made the change by taking off Bednarek. Good ball by Alcaraz, misses out Joe Linton. Amo Amayor taking on Lloyd Kelly with a few step overs, stopped by Bruno. Isak, a chance to go, taking on two. Still Isak, Barnes to the right. Isak's got it. Oh, it's hit. Downs the through ball. Almost, but not quite, as they try to get in for what would be a killer second. A rare break from Newcastle, who are back defending. Edozie, Alcaraz, close to the edge of the penalty area. It's back to Harwood-Bellis.
There you go. They've gone from.
Does he fancy a shot, the defender? No. Wide to the little winger, Amo Amayor. Doesn't get the cross in. Harwood-Bellis now delivers. Dan Burn. It's come off his right foot, but his right heel, and gone back across him, and it's a corner. Going to make any more changes, Newcastle, it seems. Still got players warming up. 89th minute. Maybe there'll be some changes in stoppage time just to give one or two a bit of a break and try to run the clock down. This is Smallbone, 30 yards out. They go backwards with the corner. Dibbling. Flat cross.
Awful.
Headed out by Kelly. Barnes competing for the ball. The assistant referee is given the free kick. Barnes on Sam Amo Amayor, who's not the biggest player, but no, Barnes adjudged to have bundled him over.
There's not much of him, is there?
A couple of goals to tell you about. The match Gateshead away at Woking, delayed after a lengthy stoppage. Bad injury to Gateshead captain Greg Ollie. Gateshead 1-0 up through Kenton Richardson, and Brighton 3-0 up at Everton, Simon Adingra. Here, in the final minute of the 90, 1-0 Newcastle lead with 10 men and a free kick to defend. Close to the right corner of the box, Will Smallbone into the centre. It's flicked across the area. Now it's collected by Archer over the top. Two players down. Could be a head injury. Emil Kraft. Newcastle's medical team come running along the touchline. They haven't been called on, so we will have a wait here.
They're telling them to get up. They've told Dan Bourne, tell them to get up.
They normally tell players to go down.
They usually tell them to go down. Roll around. Kill a few minutes.
Here's the numbers board from fourth official Dean Whitestone. 5 minutes minimum additional time.
Oh, he's all right.
Just rubbing his cheek or his nose. Emil Kraft. Newcastle push up to halfway, and on we go into additional time on BBC Radio Newcastle. A curious opening weekend game. They have the advantage in terms of the scoreline, but at a disadvantage numerically with players, and have been since just before the half hour. Southampton throw on the near side. We've almost played the first of the 5 minutes. And up the left wing, the away side go. Edozie with Livramento. He's drifted inside. He's come a long way inside. Bruno's made a challenge, and it's a foul.
Of course it's a foul. It's a foul all day. It's a scissor tackle.
And it's really in a shooting position. Southampton will want to take a good look at. They'll have a few players that might see this pique their interest as conversations go on. Brighton are 4-0 up at Everton. Yassin Ayari has scored. He was playing against Newcastle last season for Blackburn in the FA Cup on loan. What about this free kick then, John Anderson?
Yeah, it's in a shooting position, isn't it? Armstrong's there, Smallbone's there.
They've got Tyler Dibbling as well. It's just with his left foot, maybe. Newcastle wall includes Joel Linton, Alexander Isak, Dan Burn. So it's a big wall. 93rd minute now. What's the referee doing? He's walking towards the wall. Is it not far back enough? No, it is, but there seems to be a problem with the conduct of some of the players in the wall. Southampton have this opportunity in additional time from the free kick, close to the edge of the box. Smallbone into the wall, which did its job perfectly well for Newcastle. Downs collects on the near side. Edozie, who's come out to the right wing, back inside to Downs. Still 1-0 to Newcastle United with 10 men. Amo Amayor inside to Dibbling. Left or right forward, he was the furthest player back. In from Alcaraz. It's come across to the near side. Southampton keeping Newcastle penned in. Back it comes to Stevens. Dinks up the cross. Joelinton away. Now Isak away. And Bruno is after it. Bruno in a foot race with Edozie. Free kick Newcastle United.
He's going to get booked.
And Edozie's going to get a yellow card for the challenge on Bruno. Southampton cannot believe their eyes.
That's unbelievable, that. That's a scandalous decision.
Edozie is aghast. Russell Martin is flinging his arms around and is now at the fourth official, joined by a member of coaching staff. Joe Willock's going to come on, gets some final instructions from Eddie Howe, who puts his hands around his face and then gives him a hug. One more Newcastle change, it seems. 1-0 they lead, a minute to play. Might be a bit more because there have been some stoppages in the stoppage time. But with 10 men since the 29th minute, they're almost there, John Anderson.
Yeah, Southampton haven't done enough. For all the ball they've had, they just haven't done enough with it.
Now Joe Willock's gone back to the bench and the numbers board's been taken away. If they don't do it now, they may not have time to make the change. He's putting an orange bib back on. Kraft with the ball. Oh, he went to get Isak in behind. Southampton have intercepted. They'll have to make sure that doesn't prove costly. Bruno with a challenge. Livramento's got it. Now up to Isak on halfway. Into Bruno. Barnes through the middle. Bruno fouled again, and they get another free kick. Bruno is absolutely spent. but this is what they need. Win free kicks, break the game up. Bruno, Newcastle United's captain today, he's got the armband on and he's waving his arms in the air, getting more noise back from the fans. I think they have cancelled the substitution as Bournemouth, through Antoine Semenyo, equalised late 1-1 at Nottingham Forest. Southampton fans starting to leave. Livramento into the right corner towards Isak, and Barnes looking forward in the penalty area after a miscued clearance, but now Dibbling brings it into midfield, fouled by Joelinton. No dispute over that.
Is that not a yellow card?
Players resumed. We're into almost the 7th minute of additional time, with Newcastle holding on to their 1-0 lead, defending, protecting the 1-0 lead. Edozie to Alcaraz. It's run for Downs. It's blocked at the edge of the area. Edozie on it again. Now across. Archer straight at Pope. And then Pope sinks to the floor and lands on the ball. Clutches it to his chest. The final whistle is surely just around the corner. In the circumstances, with Fabian Schär sent off, straight red card after 29 minutes. This is an absolutely huge opening day victory for Newcastle United, who have beaten Southampton.